What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. Or join us on Test Your Might, a video game debate show where we battle it out on the current news. Joe hosts as our good buddy Cicero and I try to get the high ground and go 1000 IQ against each other. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the 90s First to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First Show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Test Your Might. This is episode 41? 40?
Yes.
41.
41.
Somewhere right in there.
Wow.
It's a big one. Hey, everyone. Thanks for being here again. This is your weekly video game debate show, and with us tonight is a wonderful guest. But before that, please hit that subscribe button, the like button, the notification bell, and leave us a review wherever you can. Honestly, if they got it, then do it. Please, and thank you. We love you. Now, Cameron, you're back again, but for these people, the first time.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Third time for y'all, first time for
man.
everyone else.
There's been some troubles,
Yeah.
but don't worry. We've still got the gut segment.
Yes.
Switched it up a little bit because you'd answered the other questions twice already. So
Yep.
do you have the guts to answer new questions?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly what we like to hear. All right. If you're ready, if you had to pick your favorite article you've ever written, which one is it?
Okay, that's actually really hard. I
That was the point.
That really is hard. I don't.
Is it the first one you ever got published?
I would probably say
it-
actually no that isn't hard for me actually. I would probably say my favorite article that I've written is my review for Spiritfarer, because it was something that I played. It was one of my favorite games last year, and it was a game. For those that don't know, it's it's a management sim, which I'm not a big management sim guy. Like, I don't care about Animal Crossing. That's not my jam at all. But I played the game at PAX, and it really struck a chord with me. And I knew that I was like, okay, I definitely want to review this game when the time comes. And then the game came out in, I want to say, early August last year. But in the middle of July, my dad unexpectedly passed away. Not due to COVID or anything like that, but just due to unexpected causes.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
So, no, it's all good, thank you. And that game, the messaging behind that game is very much about accepting your death, accepting to move on to what's next beyond life. It makes you kind of think about those close to you that you've lost, and what were they thinking during their last moments, what were the things that you wish that you could have done differently with that person who's now gone. And because me and my dad didn't have a great relationship growing up. He was he was military, so he was a very strict upbringing from him, and
Gotcha.
our relationship definitely got better over time, but it just felt, his passing just felt abrupt. It felt like there was still so much growth for us to have, and I wasn't married yet. He never got to be he didn't get to see me get married. He never got to become a grandpa, or see his legacy in a way that was going to continue on after me. And all those things I think really struck a chord with me when playing through Spiritfarer. It was a very cathartic experience that I think that everyone, I think it's a game that everyone should play, just more or less. That was my favorite indie game of last year. I think it got really kind of overlooked because of the success of Hades. So if you have like really any system, I highly recommend to play Spiritfarer. It's everywhere. I think it's even on Game Pass. So
It is
definitely
on
check
Game
it out.
Pass. It is on Game Pass.
All right. That makes sense why that would be the easiest one to choose. That's obviously a very emotional and crazy kind of churning time in your life, and to write something that you closely related to would make sense. That's crazy, man. All right. Dang, deep question, deep answer. Gut segment has gone heavy. All right. Moving on though.
Heavy
As a
guts.
man who wears all the hats, figuratively, what would be your full-time gig if money was no issue?
If money was no issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like doing what I do, and I'm still like wanting to do something full time in that regard. So, I consider myself a writer / host. Like, I do think that I still have a lot more growth to do in my hosting capabilities, but I would like to think that sometime in the future, I could be like, Greg Miller, or I could be like someone that hosts events and like he's known for loving video games and talking about video games and things like that. And like but I also like writing my opinions too. So like it really just depends. Like I like writing my opinions, I like talking about my opinions, and I like just hosting things, and it's a fun time. So something similar to what I already do would be my answer.
There you
It's
go.
a good answer, yeah. Can't hate on that. In fact, I love that answer. That'd be a gig right there. Minus the writing. I'm not a good writer. Let's be real, but I love to run my mouth, so if I could just host things, oh man. All right. And lastly, you've answered them twice before, but we gotta know. The listeners have to know. What is your favorite video game and console?
So my favorite video game of all time is Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. It has been since 2004, I believe, 2004, 2005. I should know this. I know it was December. It's December of one of those years. Well, technically Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and then Final Mix was Japanese only, and then it finally came out to the West when they did the remasters. But 2005, yeah, 2005. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And my favorite console, I've said it before, it's like kind of it kind of depends on the day between the 360 and the PS2, but I think I would have to pick the 360.
All right.
There you
Good
go.
choices. Great choices, some might say. Okay, gentlemen, we made it through the gut segment. No one was slimed. We're all safe.
Really
Now-
quickly, Cam, before because we have had no listeners hear your voice from our podcast. Just really quickly plug some stuff. Where are you on a daily basis? How can we follow you and stuff like that?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at CamFinalMix, where I post all my bad opinions of both video games and general sorts. Recently, I've been talking about how root beer is gross, and
Wow.
how if you put
Whoa.
no ice in your fountain drinks, like when you go to an actual fountain station, you put no ice in there, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm getting called out so hard right
yeah,
now.
both of those things are problematic.
I replied to your.
I did, but I was just like, okay, wait, are you disagreeing with me, or are you agreeing with me?
Oh, I'm disagreeing wholeheartedly. Root beer is my favorite soda.
Root beer is literally like makes me gag. It makes me gag. I posted a video of me drinking root beer because I got it from my wife, and because she likes root beer, and I tried it because it's been a minute, and I was like, maybe I'm over exaggerating. Nope. And then after eating my whole meal and drinking a different soda, Dr. Pepper, the goat, then I could still taste the root beer. Like, that is disgusting.
Wow.
Complete side note. If you do think Dr. Pepper's the goat, have you tried? They recently released a Dr. Pepper and cream soda. Have you tried that?
I've heard it's really good, but I'm not a cream soda guy. Like I don't.
Right, he doesn't
don't-
like root beer. You're gonna tell him he's gonna go cream soda?
I don't here's the thing. I don't like dislike cream soda per se. I just would. There's just many other things I would rather have.
It's mixed with his
before.
favorite pop this time, or soda, whatever you call it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't
Pop, you
crucify me.
Midwesterners.
There's just many things I would rather have
Gotcha.
than cream soda is the thing. Like, so that's why I don't really have it. But I've had it in the past. Like, oh, this isn't terrible.
Fair enough. All right, gentlemen.
Yeah.
What have we been
Oh.
playing?
Oh, I didn't say my other things. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, wait,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got
We
distracted.
kind of just got sidetracked. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv
Oh, yeah.
/Cam Final Mix, where I basically more or less play through franchises that I haven't played for the for the very first time. Like right now, I'm going through No More Heroes. I plan on doing Psychonauts and 2D Metroid later this year. And I also write for the Inside Games YouTube channel, which is run by Lauren Sontag and Bruce Green, who, if you ever watched Funhouse, you might know who they are. They're not there anymore, but they basically started a YouTube channel together, and I help write the news portion of their videos every week. So if you want to check that out, youtube.com/Inside Games, I assume. I don't know, but like the Inside Game, it's just Inside Games. So that's where you can check out that stuff too.
We'll get that link in the show notes. I
Heck
will
yeah.
definitely get it down there. I'm writing a note for myself now.
Boom. All right, Cam. What have you been playing lately?
So over this entire weekend, more or less, I have been playing Marvel's Avengers because
I'm sorry. Wait, no.
no. Here's the thing. I played Destiny day one and consistently played Destiny day one until the Taken King came out. And when they fixed everything, Marvel's Avengers is not as bad as Destiny day one. Let me tell you. And the thing is I've been playing it, and so the main reason I decided to play it, I wasn't planning on it, but for some reason, I'm playing it on PS5 because, the whole, Spider-Man's coming exclusively to PlayStation, which is really dumb that they're doing that. But regardless,
PS5?
I was like, okay, I'm going to...
I heard that console's a myth.
Oh, the PS5? Yeah, I got the PS5. So I tried to transfer, my stuff over to the PS5 version. Didn't work, so I had to go through the story again.
Oh, no.
And then I wanted to get at least one character up to my main character, Captain America, up to 50, but while they're doing this quadruple XP weekend thing. And I've been killing it. I started it probably Friday night, and I finished the campaign. My Captain America is already at level 50, and he's almost at maximum power.
Wow.
Leading up
There
to
you
this
go.
new expansion. So
Dang.
I've
It's
been
a
kind
busy
of
weekend.
The grind is real.
Yeah, I was grinding. So yeah, and it's one of those things the game lacks content, and it basically needs the Taken King treatment. I think that, I don't know if it's going to be either with this expansion or with Spider-Man, but if this game does not shape up by one of those two releases, this game is shortly gonna die after. It's short. They're gonna stop supporting the game. Is what I mean.
Real die.
Because it's just not a lot of people are playing it. Not a lot of people are streaming it. I do think this quadruple XP weekend has helped, and I think that a lot of people will jump in with the Black Panther expansion because that is free. So we'll see what happens. And that's why I'm playing it now, is because I also want to jump into Black Panther, and if there's new post games, more post game stuff, a raid or something like that, because that's another thing. They have one raid in this game, and it's been almost a year. That's just not it's not. I won't say it's tolerable, but it's I don't want to say it's unacceptable either. But it's just that is an issue. That is a problem. I've been
That doesn't
enjoying...
keep them competitive with with their
Yeah,
peers.
exactly.
Destiny,
Like when
yeah.
you're trying to compete with Destiny, like name recognition, IP recognition is only going to take you so far.
Right.
And granted, like I enjoy playing the game. I think the gameplay is solid. I think that the missions are like fun, and the thing that is an issue with the post game with the lack of content is like there are a lot of missions, but they're short, which is actually a good thing. Because those are like the only real ways to like get your power up. You have to basically repeat the same missions over and over again. So it really is like I'm really enjoying myself. There are some issues, but like I don't know, I'm having fun. Like I've been having more fun since the most fun I've had since the game came out. And I'm looking forward to the Black Panther expansion to see, like, I actually need to, like, look into it and be like, okay, outside of the Black Panther stuff, like Wakanda and, like, the story stuff, what else are they bringing? Because I'm interested. I'm excited for it. And then outside of that,
Right.
I started up Neo, The World Ends With You, which I talked about on the second episode that will never air, that I played through the original World Ends With You on DS, and to gear up for Neo because I never played the original. And as a Kingdom Hearts fan, and you know they implemented the World Ends With You characters into one of the Kingdom Hearts games, I was like, I definitely got to play this game. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, and in general, I found the first one to be fine. Like I think that like for its time, I'm sure it was really cool and revolutionary for it being a DS game. So I kind of went into this game with hesitant expectations because you know there was a demo that came out like about a month before the full game came out, and people that were familiar with the game, I heard a few people say like, I don't know about this gameplay, I don't know about this or that, like you know there's some a lot of questionable things. But like I'm playing it on PS4 because I heard the Switch version is a little rough, which makes sense to me. And I'm super impressed. Like I am having a blast. Like I can't see this not being in my top 10 by the end of the year. Like I'm enjoying it that much.
Oh wow.
The only kind of issue with it, I would say, is you need to know the story. You need to know the story leading up to this. Is like a proper sequel. You need to know the story because if you don't, like, you're not going to know what's going on. And even at this point, like, they kind of just throw you into things. Like, there's one character from the previous game that has been shown, and I know that the main character of the first game is supposed to show up at some point. Like, that's something that they like basically revealed leading up to the game coming out. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but in general, like I like the characters that they're introducing, the game, like the way that they modernize the gameplay with the pins, which is like basically how you get your abilities in the original, and how they implemented it into this game is really, really fun. I can't complain right now. I'm having a blast, and like if it wasn't for this Avengers Weekend thing, I would be like still
Yeah.
like
Grinding
head first
hard on
into that game. Like even though I've been playing this stuff, all I'm thinking about is like I want to go back to Neo and play more of that game because it's really fun. So
Sweet. Nice. Mike, what have you been playing?
Yeah, so I am a proud owner of a brand new TV.
All right.
Got my man cave all set up pretty much. So it's just to the left there. Well, sorry, my right. Yeah.
If you're watching, you'll see. He points at it.
And so yeah, I've been checking it out, checking out the 4K, the 120 hertz, all that stuff. Complete side note, this TV has Dolby Vision, and I've been watching Raya and the Last Dragon, and it looks phenomenal on there. Like, it's insane how good it looks. So yeah. Anyway, I once again did not have a lot of time to play. So when we did get the TV, I must really love my son a lot because I let him play Tony Hawk first on the TV. I did not get first dibs. He did. So he was having fun playing Tony Hawk. And that night I bought the $10 upgrade for the Series X version, of the Tony Hawk remaster. So it runs, I'm pretty sure it runs at 120 hertz. And so like you could see that like Tony Hawk was like maybe 19 years old again on the screen, just like he's going super fast, doing all the tricks. Caleb, my son, he loves Tony Hawk. And then, I got to play a little bit of Apex on there, but the two games that I tried today, actually, as of this recording, I did download Flight Simulator.
Hey, all right.
Tried it out. So it wasn't much flight simulating.
Learning control simulator.
It was more like a mixture of like cars and like Burnout 3 Takedown. So I was just kind of learning the controls and everything, and finally like started figuring out everything. Definitely take your time to explore the menus if you want to try this game, because it took me forever to like find the actual controls. Like when you're loading into a flight, it brings up the controls for like 2 seconds, and you cannot read them in 2 seconds. And so definitely take some time, explore what the buttons do on your controller, and then you'll have a lot better experience. Once I did that, I was like, I could kind of fly this thing and see what's up with this. So I haven't done any like exploring, just like going out into the world from like an airport. I've just done their like curated like go to New York and see the Statue of Liberty, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know how much of a simulation gamer I am, so I don't know how long this is going to have some space on my hard drive, but I'm definitely going to explore and check out some of the stuff, because the game looks phenomenal on the new screen here. So, and then I finally got to crack open Death's Door.
Nice.
Yeah, played a little bit of that today, and I gotta be honest, like I've only played 15 minutes of it, but like I'm in it for the long haul. The controls, that like the feel of your character, like it feels so good, like just attacking and everything. It doesn't feel clunky at all, and just I love games that make it feel good, like that you're really immersed into it, because Control for me was that as well. Like Control, the combat like feels good to me, even though it would stutter every so often. It always felt good to me, and it makes it pleasurable to play, that type of thing. So, but Death's Door has this extremely cool aesthetic, has this extremely funny premise. Basically, you are a Grim Reaper. You are a crow, but you are a Grim Reaper, and you are reaping souls. And you basically have a light attack, a heavy attack. You also have a dodge, and then you have a roll attack as well. And you have a bow and arrow. So eventually, I'll start upgrading some things. I've heard that it's I've heard that it's a pretty big grind to get some of your powers a little bit more up, so I'll look forward to that, but for the most part I'm really enjoying it. So
awesome. Cicero, what have you been playing lately?
I have been playing baseball, because that's what I do. I play baseball. I've been playing
very nice
NBA 2K20 whatever it is, because I'm finally in the playoffs in my career, so I'm trying to win a championship before the next one comes out.
That's basketball, right?
What's that?
Yeah. That's
baseball and basketball.
You said baseball.
I know. I played baseball, the show.
Oh,
right? Okay.
Right, and then I also play basketball, the NBA 2K, whatever it is.
I was tracking.
Not NBA Live, the free
not
version
NBA,
that's coming out?
not the free version of NBA Live that doesn't exist but should exist, based on a great argument that no one ever heard. I
heard it.
Yeah, so then I've also been playing some of the FIFA, because that game is also fun. So those are the sports. I got them out of the way. But I've also been playing a new game that released on Game Pass, both on my PC and on my Xbox Series X, and that is The Ascent, which is a 3/4 isometric. It's like Diablo meets Cyberpunk, in a twin stick shooter RPG. It's really, really, really good so far. Like the worlds are, so people have been beating up Cyberpunk 2077. There's fair criticism for that game. There's some unfair criticism for that game. I think that criticism that lands somewhere in the middle is that the game itself was supposed to be, or trying to show you this cyberpunk world in the future, and they accomplished that in certain ways, but it never felt like people were actually living in those worlds, that they actually existed there. They were there, but you didn't feel like they were necessarily of that place. Maybe it's because you're further away, but that is something that does not happen with the Ascent. You feel like every inhabitant lives there, has been kind of doing their own thing, that you are part of a living, breathing place.
You're dropped into their world.
Right. It is really well done. I'm enjoying it. If I do have one knock against it, it's that the game is, you can play it cross-play, cross-save, in either single player, obviously you can't cross-play, but single player, online co-op, or couch co-op. But all of those things are walled off from each other. So when you start in the menu, you have the choice of starting a single player game, an online co-op game, or a couch co-op game. And you can play with your main save or any of your saves, and it will take that progress and put it into whichever of those modes you choose, but you're walled off into those choices from there. So like if you're playing by yourself, but maybe one of your friends said that they were going to jump on and wanted to play with you, you'd have to start an online co-op game, because if you just play a single player game, that person can never join you in that game, even though it's fundamentally the same game.
Yeah. So you would have to save your game, exit, start a co-op game, and then start your save there?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's not as bad as I thought you were going to initially explain it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple extra steps.
Yeah, it is. So the thing about it is there's no save state. It's an autosave system. So you don't know when the game decides to autosave. It does it frequently, but it tells you when, right before you quit, it tells you how long it's been since it's saved. So, in minutes. So, or, seconds and minutes. So like, if you've done something in the last 10 seconds and you're like, oh, my buddy's here, I want to play with him, can I quit out? But the last time it saved was 30 seconds ago, then you've got to sit around and wait until something happens for it to automatically save before you can quit out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you got to start yourself in an online co-op game, which I don't know what, if there's a negative or a positive to starting an online, playing an online co-op game solo, but it's just a weird choice, but the game is super good. Everybody play it.
All right. The Ascent. Sounds interesting. I'm always playing Apex, gentlemen, so nothing new there. Although I have been playing more games on my PC.
All right.
And I really like it. Got a new monitor. That's what I'm viewing you guys on. And listeners, what I'm viewing them on, not you guys. Can't see you guys. That'd be
You're
weird.
viewing them also.
But no, I'm really enjoying it. It's a 75 hertz panel, and it's only 1080, so that's fine. But it's fun. It's fun playing on PC. That extra little bit, hertz wise or FPS wise for those listening, like it makes a difference, and I didn't think it would. But I'm really enjoying it. It's tons of fun. Obviously, I love Apex anyways, but on PC, it is more fun even than the Xbox. The only thing I have on my Xbox, which they need to hurry up and fix, is progression.
Your skins.
I'm absolutely maxed out on Xbox. I have everything on there.
You have
and
everything?
I don't have I have a lot.
We have a friend that has everything.
Yes, so our friend has everything. I have a lot of things. But I have, I'm level 500. I'm maxed out for that. I have a plethora of skins and weapon skins and charms and backgrounds and music packs, and I'm a day one player, so I have everything from day one that's been released, minus all the heirlooms and a few purple skins, a few blue skins, and that's probably it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
y'all weren't kidding about Jelly being a big Apex person. That's
in Apex.
Yeah.
holy crap.
I love this game. And yeah, so I would love to be able to port that to PC so I could play it on PC and take advantage of the extra FPS and playing on a little bit smaller screen, because right now when I play, I'm on my 4K TV, which looks amazing, but it's stuck at 60 FPS, and 15 FPS actually does make a difference, which I wouldn't expect, but hey, I'm learning slowly. Other than that, I've been playing Trailmakers, and that's pretty much it. I actually put that on the back burner a little bit recently because I'm gearing up for season 10 Apex.
Yeah.
Which, as of this recording, drops in like 2 days.
2 days.
So
Nice.
I'm stoked. All right. Speaking of today, though, today we have a bonus question because today is Spider-Man Day. So, as our bonus question, starting with you, Cam, because you're our guest, what is your favorite Spider-Man video game, movie, or show? Wow, that was hard. Of all time.
Oh, video game, movie, or show? Oh, well, I mean, if we're talking just games and we're talking just movies, like the answer is the same. It's Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2, not even just the best Spider-Man movie, one of the best superhero films of all time. I think it's better than any MCU film that's ever come out to this day.
Okay. Shoot.
I think that
We're not even to the test your might section here.
I think that film, like, really, it just brings like the meaning of being a superhero. It's like the last real superhero film that, and I feel like Iron Man 1 and 3 tried to do this in a certain degree of like what it means to be a superhero, like what the consequences, the responsibilities, things like that, while a lot of the MCU nowadays is just kind of like, oh, this is this character who is a superhero and this is what they're doing. It is not like they don't
fair.
It's not like grounded in the way that I think that the Spider-Man Sam Raimi films are. And I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but like I don't know. I just think that like a lot of people love Tom Holland Spider-Man more like because it's just Tom Holland, and Tom Holland is a cool guy and a quirky guy that's playing Spider-Man, not like that he's actually doing a good job being Spider-Man, if that makes sense. But I still enjoy, just generally like for entertainment purposes, I enjoy Homecoming, I enjoyed Far From Home, but I just don't think that those films have the depth that the Sam Raimi films have. And we're not even going to talk about the Amazing Spider-Man films. So we're not even going to talk about that.
All right. Mike, coming to you. Favorite Spider-Man video game, movie, or show? Hey, I didn't want to take that time. Go.
There you go. I'll leave Cicero to talk about his game of the generation. I'm assuming that he'll mention it at least, but Cam, I will agree with you that Spider-Man 2 is amazing, the movie. I don't think it's the best superhero movie of all
I don't think
time.
it's the best. I think it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best.
I don't know if it's better than every MCU film, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, sure.
I also don't think that is the best Spider-Man movie. Because
You're gonna say Spider-Verse?
No, actually.
Okay.
I'm actually going to say Homecoming. And
No way.
My reasoning is because is the villain. I thought Michael Keaton was phenomenal as the Vulture.
Sure.
Yeah.
And more than, probably top 5, maybe even top 3 in my mind in the MCU as a villain.
I agree with that.
So, and I think Tom Holland actually does play a good Spider-Man, in the sense that he's just a little awkward, and that's what Peter Parker is in the comics. He's slightly awkward in his high school years, and I thought Tom Holland played him really, really good, especially coming off of Civil War, where you got that introduction of him. Maybe Civil War is my favorite Spider-Man film. I love Civil War. Anyway, but as far as games, I do want to do a quick shout out. Let me take you to the GameCube and Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is a gem in my opinion. It's got this really cool art style, this comic book art style, and I played it on the GameCube growing up.
It was like cell shaded, right?
Yeah, cell shaded. And then again, Into the Spider-Verse is another good mention. I'll let Jelly talk about that because I think he might go there. Cicero.
I do want to say really quick that I think I agree with you regarding Michael Keaton as the Vulture, but I also think that he carries a lot of that movie. And I also think that specifically Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is better than
he's
Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also argue Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, but I also think that just in general, I like how in the Sam Raimi films in general that all of the villains are personal to Peter. I think that more so than just the chick that I like's dad ends up being the Vulture type thing. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But I agree that Michael Keaton was great in that, and I kind of wish he had more of a significant role in the MCU as a whole because of that. But I also feel like that the other notable villain Killmonger, he was one and done as well. So I think that there's a chance that Michael Keaton will come back, but I'm just saying that again, I just wish that there was more usage of Michael Keaton in the MCU because I do think that he's one of the few very notable villains.
Yep.
He's a good bad, and that's good.
Sure.
It's not bad.
Cicero, and that's not bad. Cicero, what is your favorite Spider-Man video game, movie, or show?
So Mike thought I would be talking about Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man because it is my game of the generation. It is brilliant, and it allows you to feel like the web slinger in a way that I don't think any other game ever has replicated. I could have talked about Into the Spider-Verse, but I think there are better people here to talk about that. Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal film. Alfred Molina, top-notch performance. But sometimes you got to go back to basics. Sometimes you have to go back to the beginning, and it is the original Spider-Man with Willem Dafoe as the villain.
Okay.
That really solidified. Well, so Spider-Man is my favorite character in mythology. And
really? In all of Mythos.
In all of Mythos, Spider-Man. Yes. The thing about Spidey is that I've seen him in really bad live action iterations. I've seen him in comic book iterations. I've seen him in animated iterations, and to all sorts of varying degrees, mostly bad. That Spider-Man film was the very first time that I saw him larger than life, and I really felt like this was real. And
so good.
And they're like superhero movies are possible. So the original Spider-Man, like that was it. I will never forget that.
It was a great movie.
Oh yeah, very good
Agreed.
movie. It's
All right. I know we kind of have a blanket ban on Andrew Garfield and the Amazing Spider-Man.
No, I
enjoyed them.
I enjoyed the first one, not the second one.
No,
The first one. The second was bad.
yeah, the second one's
Hands
not
down, it was real bad.
yep.
Honorable mention: Spider-Man, the '90s cartoon.
Oh yeah,
because I grew up
Very
with it, and it
enjoyable.
was so good. But yes, my favorite is Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. They've all hinted at it. It is my favorite. It's my favorite for a multitude of reasons.
For a multiverse of reasons.
A multiverse of reasons.
Oh, you
even.
missed the joke.
No, it felt yucky when I was thinking about it. But no, that's one of them. I love the multiverse aspect of basically superhero ethos, mythos, all of it. I love the idea of different worlds and timelines and all this stuff. So that's huge for me. I love that we have Miles Morales as Spider-Man. He kills it. He's a teenager. He fits it. I get it. It's animated, but they made this character for me the perfect, like, what I always expected Spider-Man to be like. In Spider-Man 1, I always thought he was too old. They went with the older version of him. And the animated show, again, good but too old. Garfield looked way too old. So with Miles, we get high school. We get actual high school Spider-Man, Peter Parker, original, like what he should have been. But they finally gave it to us in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We've got an awesome African-American lead. We've got the problems with living in the inner city. We've got the issues with family members and betrayal and what to do when you love a person who ends up not being not just loving, but looking up to him as a role model and almost idolizing them, and they turn out to be bad. When those bad people do things to sacrifice for you, and that's just...
Oh, spoilers.
A little bit. If you haven't seen the Spider-Verse, what are you waiting for? I can't sell this movie enough. It's one that I have owned from day one. The style that they did it in, I haven't seen anything better in animation as far as the style for a comic book movie. They killed it. It's by far my favorite, and that's across the board. Out of movies, games, and shows, this is my favorite. I rewatch it often. I actually just had it on yesterday, so it is so good.
Unpopular opinion. No, I'm not gonna say like I dislike. I don't dislike Spider-Verse. I like Spider-Verse. I just don't love it, and like part of it is like the stuff with Miles and his dad, because I had a very similar background with my father, and just I could not relate to any of that. I was just like, nope, that would not happen with me and my dad, like that type of stuff. And granted, that's a very specific personal thing, but I agree with you, like the art and the animation is great, but like the main thing that really like, that doesn't irk me, but it's just notable for me, is that like before, like how everyone like felt about like Into the Spider-Verse is how I felt about the Lego movie. Like when the Lego movie came out, I was just like, this is one of the best animated films that I've seen in a very long time. I loved everything about it, the humor, the messaging and all that stuff. And it makes sense because the directors of the Lego movie were producers, and I believe one of them was a writer for Into the Spider-Verse. So when I was watching into the Spider-Verse and like getting like the messaging of the movie, I was like, this is the Lego movie, but with Spider-Man. Like it was the exact same kind of messaging that the Lego movie gave. Was like, oh, everyone is special. Everyone can be everyone can be like the hero. Everyone can be like that type of thing.
Everyone can be
and then
awesome?
Spider-Verse is everyone can be Spider-Man. And I was just like, so that kind of like soured that film a bit for me, because I just feel like that the Lego movie did it one first, and I think it did it better too. I still like I still think the Lego movie is like one of the best animated films to come out this century, basically. Like
Lego
it would definitely be
fantastic.
it would definitely be on my top 10, I would say. So, but yeah, I still think it's a great film. I think that, like, you know, I definitely think that after Spider-Man 2, it is like objectively, I would say, the best Spider-Man film.
Ooh, objectively, wow.
I would think so, yes, personally. But like, because the thing is, like, hey, like I would rather watch like Spider-Man, all the Spider-Man, the Raimi films before all the other Spider-Man films. But I recognize
even Spider-Man 3.
Yes, I would.
Wow.
I think
we're gonna have to have a fourth
rewatch.
No.
Rewatch Spider-Man 3, and I promise you, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Oh no, it isn't. It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's hilarious.
No, it's really not that bad.
Probably worse. I just watched. So wait a minute. So all right, guys. So we're gonna have Cam on. Like we're gonna have to do a '90s first, where we break all sorts of rules, like a '90s first tester might crossover, where we just test ourselves on all of Cam's pop culture references, because he's already taking shots at root beer, at people who drink fountain drinks with no ice.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. No, like I'm not attacking anyone for liking like. As long as you're not saying that like Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie, I have no beef with you. You know what I mean? Like I'm like I understand. Like, because I'm just saying, like, go back and watch Spider-Man 3, and it really isn't a bad movie. It obviously has had studio meddling to it, but like, and there's some issues there. But like, it is still a pretty good movie. It's just when you compare it to the other two Raimi films, it's just not on the same level. Okay. Like I think the stuff with Sandman was really, really good.
That's fair. That
Sandman,
was good.
Yes, Sandman is the saving grace of that movie, in my opinion.
I think the stuff with Sandman,
he should have been more prevalent.
So what we need to do is watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 and then watch Spider-Man 3.
No.
And we'll think, oh my God, this movie's amazing.
No, it's not even that. And like a lot of people hate the like cringy Tobey Maguire, like, you know, Peter Parker thing. Like that is the point. Like he was supposed to be cringy because that is what Peter like is trying to be cool, and Peter is not cool. Yes. That was the entire point of that scene.
They nailed it.
I'm just saying. If you look at it in that light, you'll be like, "Oh, this makes sense." I don't know. But I'm just saying that like I would rather like have all three of my point being is that I would rather like watch Spider-Man, Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin over Spider-Verse. But I don't think that it's a better film than Spider-Verse. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I hear you.
That's what I'm trying to say when I mean objectively.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's our op-ed. We can say what we like about it.
Had some bombs dropped in
there we go. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Kim's ready for test.
There weren't even that many bombs. Y'all haven't heard real hot takes from me. That's
oh man, his mic's gonna be on fire.
Y'all just keep your Twitters open. We're gonna see it. All right. News, gentlemen. PS5 SSD firmware update now in beta, which means the people have it. What people? Because the PS5 doesn't exist, but some people out there, scalpers mostly, have the option to try this beta for the SSD. Cam, you have a PS5. You are not a scalper.
I do.
You are an actual gamer.
Yes.
Do you have? Are you using the beta? Yes. Do you have?
I signed up for it once the stuff was announced, but I haven't like gotten anything back about it. Like I haven't gotten an update on my system or anything like that. But for me, like I don't. PlayStation is my PS5. While I'm really enjoying like the DualSense and I like the new UI and things like that, my PS5 is like my least used system, like console. Like, you know, it's primarily Xbox and then Switch and then things that like basically don't come to Xbox and then run crappy on Switch. I get on PlayStation. So or like that, you know, that's like third party, and then obviously I get the exclusives. So like I have an external hard drive because I still have so many PS4 games like on my shelf and in my library that I need to play with it being backwards compatible, and like there's no benefit of putting that on your SSD, so it's just I have an external hard drive for that, and then depending on what PS5 game I'm playing, I'll just, you know, I'll choose whether or not I want to keep it installed or uninstalled. Like right now, I think the only PS5 game I played this year that I've kept on my system is Returnal, because I'm like, I hit credits, but I know that there's stuff that you can do after, and I actually really want to go back to that game. You know, but like Ratchet and Clank, when I finished Ratchet and Clank, I'm like, okay, I got the platinum. I don't need to play this game again for a very long time. I uninstalled it. You know what I mean? It's cool that it's an option. I wish it was more less tedious than the expansion card on Xbox, where, because, you know, a lot of people, including myself, when Xbox announced that, hey, we're doing an expansion card for memory and it's proprietary, that was a red flag because the Vita was proprietary and a lot of people hated that. But the way that they did it this way, like, makes a lot of sense. And it is expensive, but just being able to utilize the internal SSD, like just by slotting it in, like getting those load speeds, it's very, very nice. Again, I know it's expensive. It's like $200, but in my opinion, like, it feels bad when you're buying it, but once you actually you start using it, you're like, wow, this was 100% worth the money. So yeah. I would definitely recommend people getting it.
All right. Anyone else opinions on this before?
Yeah. Well, you know, I got a question about this SSD. So, like, do we have any idea about limits? Or is it 1 terabyte? Is it 2 terabytes?
No,
because they're NVMe's, right?
Yeah,
and you're installing it.
There are NVMe's right now, if they have the correct speeds and everything to them, that you could get up to 4 terabytes of extra storage.
Right.
But that's going to cost you $1,200 right now.
Now, will the PlayStation take it though?
Yes, the PlayStation will.
Okay.
They released that basically the SSD that you want to upgrade to or put in the slot has to just meet these certain requirements, and then you know, like a couple days later or even a day or two later, some companies were announcing that, you know, theirs will work.
Right. Okay.
The one caveat, everybody, there's 2 caveats to upgrading. PlayStation has come out and said that you might have to install a heatsink for it to work properly on some of them, and no regular consumer is A, going to even upgrade, and B, going to even know what a heatsink is. Right. Secondly, what they said is that even though you might be getting a hard drive, an extended hard drive that will match the stats, it may not function as the internal does. So they have said that some of the, even though it reaches the stats that they require for extending your hard drive space, it might not do the same things that, like, it might not, like Ratchet and Clank, for example, as Cam mentioned, Ratchet and Clank might be functioning differently on the internal than it would on the extra internal that you install. So those are the 2 caveats. I don't think it's that big of a deal to, like, you know, actually get some extra hard drive space. It does, like, the process does seem simple, but it's not simple enough as in plugging a memory card. That's the thing.
Especially because most of most people aren't us who like follow these things, and just like imagine going to a store and be like, hey, so how do I get extra memory? And they explain, oh, so you have to undo the side and then you have to unscrew the like that, like
first
that
get a Phillips
like,
head.
what?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little bit ridiculous in that sense. So like for me, like, eventually there's going to be like a PS5 Pro, you know what I mean? And it'll be like, oh, here's an updated, like a bigger memory storage. Like I would rather trade in my current PS5 and get the new model to get that upgrade that way than buying an external and just like trying to do all that stuff.
And they're really expensive right now. I think like a 1 terabyte is like slightly higher. It's slightly higher, like at $250 or whatever. So like $30 more than the memory card for the Xbox. And like I'm not saying yes, Xbox did make it easier. The PlayStation 5 is a great console, guys. Like our next bullet point in our outline, they have sold 10 million units. Like, and you jokingly say that there are a bunch of scalpers, but like there's still 10 million units. It's the most popular console right now, besides the Switch. Switch is still outselling it slightly in the monthly NPDs, but regardless, the PS5 is a hit no matter what shortcomings they had coming out the gate. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so. And part of that is like it is worth mentioning that. It's like I forgot where it was said, but I remember reading somewhere that like it's known that there have been more PS5s made than Xbox Series X's and Xbox Series S's. So it's like it makes sense that it's it hit that milestone first, as well as it being the PS4 being so successful. But like I've been seeing a lot of people that like that are primarily PlayStation people, and they're picking up Xboxes, so like it'll be cool to see. I'm really just I know this is about PlayStation, but I'm very curious to see how Xbox performs, and like by the end of next year, seeing where they're at. Like I don't think that they're ever going to really announce like a milestones like that, because they kind of know what position they're in. Like that's why you don't hear them say like, oh, this first party game is going to be like sold this much. They're going to say we have this number of subscribers to Game Pass. That is what that is their milestone announcements now. So we'll see what happens though. We'll see what happens.
Highlighting PlayStation, how are they not the ones who have the plug and play SSD? We're all pretty old here ish, and I remember the 16 megabyte memory cards that we had 8 and then 16 when they upgraded memory megabytes. Can you believe it?
Right.
So 16 megabyte memory cards back in the day that all our saves file gone, and it plugged in right above the controller.
Right.
And like
how did they not do
15
that?
megabytes of that was like your GTA 3 savings.
All of it.
Yeah,
you had to have 2 of them.
I mean, both of these are like it's a gift and a curse, right? Like they're almost like backhanded compliments. So the SSD firmware is finally in for the PS5, but there are all these caveats around it. Plus, like the problem is the reason that people have consoles, the reason that people buy consoles, especially now, is because I want that PC experience, but I don't want to have to go through the hassle of dealing with PC stuff. I just want my software to work.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't want to have to tinker with anything.
Except for me.
And now you're telling me that I've got to tinker with stuff. At least Microsoft is saying, all right, fine. You want this hard drive or this extra space? You've got 2 ways of doing it. You can plug in an external hard drive with a USB port. You know how to do that, right? And you can play your games, but if you want them to look hot and fresh from the new console that you bought, you can buy this add-on that you just slap into the back of the slot on our consoles. It's going to cost you money, but you just throw it in there. And like people understand that. Like, all right, this is going to cost me X amount of dollars, but I know that after I buy that, this is the experience that I'm going to have, right? With this storage. That is not the proposition that Sony is giving people, even even to those people that have said, I am willing to break out my Phillips head and start unscrewing things and slapping things in and testing them and adding the heat sink and with the glue paste and I don't see how or why people are going to do it. Just like Cam said, in 3 years we're going to have a PS5 Pro and it will have all the bells and whistles that this one should have had when it was released. And you can go out and get that one if the scalpers don't buy it, and hold on to them. This PS5 has sold 10 million units. Probably, I would say 6 million of those units are owned by bots.
Absolutely.
6 million are owned by scalpers.
Maybe they've sold them by now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes, I would say this is probably the highest selling electronic purchased system of all time.
Yeah, the scalping is out of hand. People not in the industry that I know, there are so few people that I know that have a PS5 but don't, or that want a PS5 but don't have one. I know many more people that want a PS5 and don't have one than people that have a PS5 because they wanted one.
Yeah.
So I mean that kind of blows. But hey, look, Sony sold them, right?
Yeah.
They don't care whether or not they were sold to real people or to machines. So
as long as they get that money.
Yep, that money spends.
All right, gentlemen, it's a new rapid fire. And basically, I'm just going to rattle these off so we can get to test your might. So, Horizon Forbidden West has been reportedly delayed to 2022. We know that this happens. This is the atmosphere for gaming for the last year and a half. Ideally, it's a good reason, and it's going to be better when it comes out the back end. So, it's a good thing overall. I think we can all agree to that. Hopefully, the listeners, you guys, will also agree a better game delayed is better than a worse game out now. Look at 2077. Moving on, we've got Forza Motorsport 7 will be delisted after September of this year. Kind of crazy. And then the Xbox Series consoles have been the fastest selling Xbox console generation of all time. Is anyone surprised by this?
Same thing we said, or same thing I said in the last segment about the PlayStation's rubber glue Xbox back to you. Horizon Forbidden West, I thought that was coming out in 2022. I didn't even realize they planned on it coming out in 2021. Anybody who believed that was, you were smoking the stuff from the Forbidden West.
Gotcha.
And Forza Motorsport 7 being delisted, I mean, that kind of blows, but I don't know anybody that was playing Forza. I don't know anybody playing Forza Motorsports anymore. Everyone's just playing Horizon.
Yup. All right. Gentlemen, you ready to test your might?
Let's do it.
I'm ready regardless, so good thing I'm
Time
not
for
fighting.
the three-peat.
Yeah. Oh. I got something real for you in these hands, sucker.
But is there proof?
Right.
I mean,
I do
technically there is. Jelly was the judge, so he's an unbiased witness.
True. As unbiased as I
I'm
can
just giving
be.
you crap, Cam. If anything, it is a knock against me because I wish we had those 2 episodes. Anyway.
All right. If you gentlemen are ready, we shall begin. Pokemon Unite is getting some decent reviews. Which gaming franchise should be made into a MOBA next? MOBA. What does that stand for? Someone help me out.
Mobile Online Battle Arena.
Yep.
Sure, I like that. So, which franchise should be made into a mobile online battle arena?
I think it's massive.
Massive online battle. Yeah. It's a mobile online battle arena. You can only play it on phones.
So Cicero's disqualified.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of like that. Cicero, go for it. Your argument should be mobile.
Yes.
Now, Cam, as our guest, the power ultimately lies with you. You can choose to go first, second, or third. If you would like to go first and take the best choice or jump right in the middle, you can. But you will choose the order on this one. So, is it you, Cicero, Mike? Cicero, Mike, you? Mike, you, Cicero?
Okay.
Shall I continue?
No, we don't have to.
Giving him time to think.
Well, what's the benefit if I go last? You know what I mean?
You could parse out arguments a little.
Right, and it gives you more time to think.
Yeah, you gotta think and then suss it out a little bit as you go through.
You can pivot.
Pivot. Anyone who wants that reference can go watch our 90s first segment. That's crazy. Shameless plug.
That would, yeah. that was a good episode. Fun episode.
That was a super fun episode. Uh-oh, here comes the
Cam's
NBA Live
the meta here.
decision making. Yep.
I am. I really am. I will go.
I'll
go last. I'm cool.
Right.
I'll go last.
All right, who do you want to go first?
Mike, you go first.
Oh, dang it.
Beautiful. Mike, you're up. Mike, which gaming franchise do you think should be made into a massive online battle arena next?
So to me, when I was thinking about this, what does Pokemon Unite have going for it, right? Really, the one thing that it has going for it is certainly, just some good mechanics, some pretty good accessibility. And so I was thinking about not only a game that has good mechanics, but also has a very, very good roster, as well as one of the most accessible games around. What would make a really good MOBA is Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate should become a MOBA. Obviously a MOBA, usually, the League of Legends, Pokemon Unite, the Dotas of the world right now, it's 3 lanes where you're taking a character and you can utilize your character in certain lanes to block certain attacks or certain defenses, from basically your opponent. And what's cool about Smash Bros. Is I think you have a lot of characters that could benefit from this style, could break through, have certain different attacks, defense, whatever. You have Bowser, who is a tank. He could go down the middle. He could, do whatever. You have Mario with his fireballs. There's so many. You have Link. You have a bunch of swordsmen as well that can do their different attacks. But then you also have some interesting characters that would add some different dynamics to it. You have Wario that would have a motorcycle that just comes out of nowhere that could potentially throw a wrinkle into anybody else's plans. I think Super Smash Bros. Has the potential to become the next greatest MOBA.
It's an answer, but I think Cicero's got another one too. Cicero,
you know what, Jelly? You're right. I do have an answer. And you've given me the new game plus by making me choose a mobile online battle arena. That's my MOBA. So
okay.
With
Took
that,
challenge.
I'm gonna pull one of the greatest mobile games of all time and say that the new MOBA should be the Angry Birds MOBA.
Okay.
So like Mike said, you need a roster, right? You need characters that are unique and zany and all of those things, and that's exactly what you get with those Angry Birds. They've got ostriches and pigs and things and triangle things, and So like, they've got So I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's the great thing about Angry Birds as a MOBA is they've already built in their special abilities right in with the characters. So you can go ahead and use the characters almost as is, and they just convert it into a MOBA. And the pigs on the same way. Some explode, some do other things, some have hard hats and helmets, and so all of those special abilities are already built into the Angry Birds. So Rovio, holla at your boy. Let's make us a MOBA.
I mean, I'm on board, but there's still one more to hear. So Cam, I'm coming to you. Which gaming franchise should be made into the next MOBA?
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, let me tell you about the past 2 episodes. Let me take you back. The past 2 episodes where we've had questions where I had a similar answer, an exact same answer, one would say, on a franchise notorious of characters, notorious of music, notorious of mechanics, gameplay, the whole 9 yards. And let me tell you, wouldn't Final Fantasy make for a great MOBA?
I love that you've been able to use this for every episode.
Final Fantasy is historic with iconic characters, with different attacks, abilities, skills that would make perfect for a MOBA. Are you kidding me? We've been able to make Final Fantasy a battle royale. We've been able to make Final Fantasy a fighter. We've been able to make Final Fantasy a strategy RPG. Final Fantasy can be anything, and that is the beauty. That is one of the many, many beauties of this franchise. Come on now. Like, do I really have to say more? Team of 6 versus, or team of 5, you know, you got Cloud, you got Sephiroth, Lightning, you got Noctis, you got Terra versus Kefka. Like, all these iconic, well-known characters of the JRPG genre. It would just sell like hotcakes. Just like, oh, this character, Bartz, is now available in the shop, and you can buy him, or you play enough, you can buy him, and then he's a playable character. You just add banger after banger after banger character, because like when it comes to like other because that's the thing, that like when it comes to MOBAs, you need that sustainability, and Final Fantasy is one of the top franchises to be able to do that. Just bringing notable character after character after character, like with League and like Dota and things like that. When they bring in those new characters, like, you don't know who they are. You just like have to like hope that you like them. But like when it comes to these other characters, like, you're familiar with the franchise, you're familiar with their abilities and what they can do. It just writes itself, everyone. It just writes itself.
Let me tell you about familiar faces. We're talking Super Smash Bros. Come on, like, you got Mario. Sorry, shout out to Cicero.
Yeah, there you go. Good
Mario.
Job.
You got Luigi. Listen, I think one of the coolest things is that you have defensive characters as well. Like even Kirby. Kirby himself can turn himself into a brick wall. You can have that kind of as an ultimate defense. Like in one of the lanes, you do a brick wall throughout the whole lane or whatever. In Pokemon Unite, the main goal is to basically gain orbs and then bring them to your opponent's side and basically dunk them into this like pot, and you're trying to have the most at the end of the game. And how great would that be when you have Kirby as like just a brick wall, you know, just holding that defense line. You have the ice climbers. They can throw ice down on the floor and make it hard to move the other people's characters. You talk about accessibility to this game. People recognize these characters. There's even Pokemon in here, and obviously there's already a Pokemon MOBA, so it kind of works out. And there's just You got King Dedede, who could be this big, beefy bird-looking dude, who is your tank, your defense character. But not only that, you have Street Fighter characters as well. You have Ken and Ryu, and they could be on your front lines fighting fisticuffs and everything. And you're talking about a franchise that has ultimate abilities already built in. This would be one of the most easily accessible and recognizable MOBAs that would come out.
I just want
look,
any thoughts?
Look, man. I mean, he's talking about it, but my birds, they're angry. Right? And look, I mean, you know, that's really all that matters. They're angry. They're there. You've got a lineup from the mobile game. You've got a lineup from the very successful movie franchise. There are all of these tie-ins that you can use to bring everyone together. And plus, because it's a mobile game originally, this could be one of the very first successful mobile MOBAs.
All right.
Okay.
And Cam, some final thoughts?
Yeah. So here's the thing with Smash Bros. This is like, that's not even like a. I just don't even feel like that's a valid pick, because that is a collection of a bunch of different IPs. It just doesn't really translate.
The licensing would be a nightmare.
The licensing wouldn't be a nightmare, and I don't think the
They already have the licensing for each
for
of the characters.
No, that's not.
No, they've got it
It's a
for
game by
Smash
game.
Brothers.
It's a game by game basis. It's a game by game basis.
If they could get them for Smash Bros, they could get them for a MOBA, guys. Come on.
No, don't. You don't. Okay, I'm super into Smash Bros. I know the history, and let me tell you, like, you were wrong. Like they had to fight tooth and nail to get Cloud back into Ultimate, like, because when they made the deal with Square for Smash 4, that's why Cloud barely came with any like stuff. It came with Midgar's a stage, and normally you get like a crap ton of music. They got 2 tracks. Then they were like, that's all you're getting. And they had to fight tooth and nail to get Cloud back into Smash for Smash Ultimate. So it's not as easy as you think. Because if it was, we'd get Sora from Kingdom Hearts and Smash, and we don't have Sora in Kingdom Hearts and Smash. But not only that, it's just like, okay, it just kind of feels cheap. It just feels like, okay, here's all these Nintendo IPs and these third parties that we got together and make it into a MOBA. It just doesn't really make sense. It doesn't. It feels like, it doesn't feel like a singular IP that of you know, because Smash is like literally a collaboration of IPs. So it just doesn't really make sense the same way that like Final Fantasy would work, because everything, while it's all these different characters, they're all still just Final Fantasy. These characters.
Mike wants to make a gumbo out of gumbo.
But also regarding Angry Birds, I don't think, because I talked about earlier, Final Fantasy has the sustainability with new characters and stuff like that. With Angry Birds, how many new Angry Birds have there been since it came out like over a decade ago? I don't think many.
It doesn't matter. They can be angry.
They can be angry.
I think I've made my case in point.
All right. I have heard enough. He's right. Now, I'm going to get nitpicky here, because the question was which one will most likely be made into a MOBA. It was which one should be made into a MOBA.
Yeah.
And I really like Mike's answer. I think it should be made into a MOBA. I know how you feel about it, gentlemen, but no one said why it shouldn't be made into a MOBA. You just said it's a gumbo of gumbo. It'd be hard to do. We can't get the IPs. It'd be super difficult. But there wasn't a lot of pushback on why it shouldn't be a MOBA. And Mike described it really well. Who would do what, the fact that all the characters have abilities,
but
what they would do in a
but
map.
It still feels cheap, because it's just like you have all these iconic franchises in one. Like that's not that's not fair. Like it's not fair.
He's unbiased.
It's like literally not fair.
I mean,
it kind of really is saying that like an artist's best album is their best of album.
Yeah, it's like
Sometimes
yeah,
that's
it's like
true.
saying saying like an artist's
Queen's
best album is their
greatest
like
album
greatest hits.
is their greatest hits album.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's like
I made the argument, gentlemen, and he's giving it to me, so I'll take it to the cleaners.
I think it's a good argument.
Cam,
I mean,
don't
you
worry, I'm going to
defended it
lose the
well.
next two, so don't worry.
Oh, I'm excited for the blind.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, Mike can't win it.
I can
Wow.
win the blind.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Next, we've got Netflix. You guys know them. Listeners, you guys know Netflix. Come on now.
You know
They're
Netflix.
planning.
Oh,
I
good
mean,
old
who
Joe
doesn't?
Netflix.
Yeah. But Netflix is planning a Pokemon and potentially a Dragon Age series. But we're going to flip the script. So what Netflix show or movie would make a great video game? Mike, you won the last one.
Yeah.
So-
I'm confident that nobody's going to pick my answer. So, Cicero, you go.
I mean, you actually
All
don't
right.
hold the power here.
Oh, why? I won.
I know, exactly. The winner always gets the worst position.
All right, fine. Well,
So it means we're hearing from you first, and unless someone
Oh.
else thinks they would rather go first.
oh, I
No.
have to go first.
Oh, you may have
Yeah.
to, unless someone else thinks it's better that they go first. So Cam or Cicero, would you guys like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
There you go.
Boom. All right.
Yeah. All right. So, man. I'm just bugging. All right. So the answer, obviously, guys, is the Will Smith vehicle, Bright. Bright.
Oh yeah.
And
forgot about that.
a buddy cop film in the vein of the Alien Nation.
Oh, this one? Really?
Yes, in the vein of Alien Nation, but this is a human cop with, I think he was a troll or something like that. So yeah, so we've got a Dragon Age game or television show potentially coming. So let's reverse that and give us a modern day RPG buddy cop film or buddy cop video game where you're also in a fantasy setting. And they talked about, if you've ever watched the film, they talk about where the elves live, and it's like this beautiful place, but we really don't get to see that. But here's a perfect opportunity to do that in the Bright video game, where you can go through all of the different areas and enjoy building out that world.
It's
I
bright.
like it.
It's got
I'm
a
gonna-
lot of lumens.
I'm going to
Yes.
correct you on one thing. His partner was an orc, not a
An
troll.
orc, not a troll. Yes, correct.
I mean, got to get
that.
your
Yes,
species correct over here.
that is correct.
DQ.
All right. Nah, I mean, I'm not going to DQ
No,
him.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Now, I was going to ask Cam if he wants to go next or last, whether he wants to sandwich you in the middle.
I want to go last.
Okay, so Mike, you're up now. Are you ready? I hope so.
So I got two answers. I'm going to take this one just because even though my original thought was one that I believe that neither of you would have chosen, and for sure not Cicero after that. but something that Cam might actually take. So that's why I'm going to go with this answer first, and I'm going to argue this.
All right.
I think The Circle should be a video game. I think The Circle would be a very good video game, and here's why. I think it would be all online, obviously, just like The Circle is, but it would be kind of like the Among Us aesthetic, right? Not necessarily like all playing in, like on a map or anything like that, but just like basically like a social deduction game, basically kind of like Survivor. If you guys don't know what Circle is, basically it's basically it's basically trying to last the longest in a game by only by only having a profile, by only being on social media, by being able to just talk and text to people instead of actually visually meeting them, as well as, and you could, somebody could be a catfish, somebody could be not who they say they are, and they have to try to create this persona, create this personality that is likable for them to be the winner in the end. For I think it's $500K for that show.
Platonic Tinder. Is it $500,000? They're getting $500,000?
Maybe it's like 250K.
No, they're not getting that much money.
I thought it was a decent amount. Maybe it's 100K.
Yeah, maybe they get 100,000.
I think season 1 was 100, and I think the second one was more.
Okay, regardless, I believe that this could be a good video game. Just simply on the fact that it's already online, you could get a bunch of your friends going, or you could just go into a party of like 12 people or whatever, create this persona, and then just try to figure out who is the best person, basically, of how to win. I'll have more, but I want to hear what Cam has to say. What's his answer?
All right, Cam, he's throwing it to you. Which Netflix property would make a great video game? Can be a show or a movie.
I am going to pick my favorite show that has come directly from Netflix, and that's American Vandal.
Okay. Tell us
so
more.
American Vandal, for those that don't know, is a show where these two kids in high school are trying to figure out who at the school drew dicks over all the teachers' cars as a senior prank.
Phallic symbols.
Yeah, and it is just just in general, please watch this show. It's absolutely hilarious. It's very like grotesque in like a very clever and smart way, I think. And it basically, what I would make it at is like a bully cross LA noir type game where you're going to the classes, you're interviewing the teachers, you're interviewing the students, you're trying to get information on who drew the dicks. You know what I mean? And I think that it would, like, just thinking of that type of gameplay, that detective work, trying to add A and B together with, for those who play Bully is kind of funny, like kicking the balls type humor, like, and that's the type of humor that I think that this game would have, and it would be really, it would be very inspired by the type of humor that the show has. It's a lot harder to sell this game if you haven't watched the show, but it's but that's basically what I'm looking for. It's like a bully, like you explore the campus. The campus is kind of like your main map, and then you go to classes, you try and do well in the classes, and while still trying to get this information as to who drew the dicks on the cars.
All right, Cicero, come back to you.
So I mean, my game's not about Richards. My game's not about whatever the heck Mike wants to talk about, circles.
He's a circle.
My game is something that we know, right? It's fantasy elements, it's RPGs, it's a story, it's world building, it's allowing you to immerse yourself into a world that you've gotten a glimpse of, but is more fully realized as a result of these writers and these game designers taking the time to flesh out what was only suggested at from the 2017 film. We can go around and actually see what it's like to be a day in the life, day of the life of either a human officer or an orc officer, and really go ahead and exist in that world. I think it's super cool. We've got fairies, and this is like, it's almost like cyberpunk for fantasy, for medieval fantasy, because it's set in like the near future. And I think that's like marrying those things together is what made Bright a a potentially attractive project and film. But I think marrying that together with an RPG in a video game and letting you play for 30 hours, like maybe Outer World style or something like that, is even more attractive.
Okay, Mike.
Cicero, you're just taking the easy route. You're just creating a fantasy game, which is, it's already in there. It's already games that have been out. It's been done before. Cam, your game sounds really interesting. I think the aesthetic of the school is a good pick, and I've already realized that I'm in third place. So you guys could argue.
Wait, what do you mean?
He's bowing out.
I cannot think of anything more about the circle that I've already described that would make a good video game.
I would say with the circle,
it was a bad choice. So.
I would say with the circle, it would just be, it's just hard to make, compelling, interactive.
Can you just talk about Cicero's game, because I know I'm already in third place.
Okay.
Oh, your game could have been like Phoenix Wright. You could have done it Phoenix Wright style.
Yeah, see, I didn't think about that, so you guys could just argue. Let me listen. Right. Just stop talking about me.
I would just say that I just feel like that world isn't particularly new or interesting. I would just say that it's just more. I would just say it's just more of the same of a kind of what Mike says. It's just a fantasy game, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just kind of like a safe pick. And I think that my pick personally is just more unique and more interesting and more would just kind of stand out from a crowd more. Like if you explained oh, what's this? What is your game? And then what's the other game? And then my game would just sound more like, oh, okay, that's different. That's new. I really, again, what Mike said is you did a safe pick, so it's hard to really, it's hard to defend. It's hard to say anything negative about it.
Oh, so what you're saying is my pick made sense. My
pick is fine. What's wrong with my pick?
I didn't say that. You said my pick was safe.
We're both on the But I'm saying I made a unique pick that you think is solid because you have nothing to say bad against it. And I'm saying
maybe I don't need to say anything bad against it. You're just saying stuff, and that's all the bad that it needs.
I think that's for Jelly to decide that. I'm just saying that based off of what I just said, you ain't disagreeing with me.
No, but you know what? Me not disagreeing with you doesn't mean that I wouldn't. It just means that I haven't.
Fair.
Don't know how that makes sense. Don't know how that makes sense. But yeah, that's all I can say.
No, Cam, you got it. Your game sounds more interesting. While Cicero's game sounds great. Out of the two of them, I'm gonna play the little bit different one. And because I've actually seen American Vandal, and I'm a custodian at a high school, and I have to clean those symbols off. It would be interesting to have a weird fourth wall broken.
Cam was playing the meta, and he didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Wow. He sees the code.
It was a solid choice. Sorry, Mike. The circle was just. It was a good show. I don't know how it is a game.
I think so. Originally, I was going to go with Fear Street, and I thought that would be cool. But I didn't.
Yeah.
Fair point. Bright. I really liked Bright as a movie. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed Bright. I was sad that they weren't making more.
I thought they left a lot on the table.
Yeah,
which could be revisited, but I've seen that movie before, without the fairies and the orcs. It was cool to have that stuff in there.
End of Watch.
Watch,
which is another David Ayer film.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm not against it. And who doesn't like a fantasy game? Come on now.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Round 3. Xbox and Ryan Reynolds are holding awards for the best gaming NPCs in celebration of Free Guy. So, the new Ryan Reynolds video game inspired movie. If you don't know what that is, go watch the trailers. I, who avoid trailers at all costs, have seen them because they're everywhere, and it looks hilarious. So, what is the best NPC of all time? Cam won the last one, so he does not hold the power this time. Gentlemen, would you like to make Cam go first, second, or third? And which position would you like to take? So, Mike and Cicero, you guys have the choice.
I think Cam goes first because that means everybody's got a chance to go first.
Sure.
Oh, I like it.
And I'll go last. So that means everyone's had a chance to go second.
Oh, hey, I love it. So, Cam, who is the best NPC of all time?
I will tell you, Jelly. I will tell you
All right.
who the best
and listeners, obviously.
NPC of all time is. Let me take you back to
Jumping in the Wayback Machine.
y'all are a little bit older than me, so y'all were probably maybe y'all were in like middle school when this game came out.
Cicero, you were a grown adult. Sorry.
We're all grown adults. I'm 27.
No.
Oh, no.
When they were in middle
I
school.
was in middle school. Cicero was a grown adult.
Oh,
He's like
Okay.
50.
oh well, Cicero, you looking great for 50. Let me tell you.
Hey, black don't crack, but thank you, brother.
Okay.
I'm not 50.
He's a solid 42. That's
Let
the
me take you like
ultimate
20.
answer to
Let
everything in
me
the
take you like
universe.
20 years back. 20 years back, right? 20
I
years
love you,
back,
Cicero.
and you get the sequel to what became a phenomenon. That is
All right.
Pokemon.
20 years back. Okay.
Pokemon.
And
All right.
you go on an adventure in Johto. And then once you go back to Johto, when you're done with Johto and you become the champion there, you go back to Kanto. And then you beat the gym leaders in Kanto. And once you've done everything, you've beaten everyone, you go up a mountaintop. And at the mountaintop, you find him. The main character from the original game. But you don't play as him. But you literally fight yourself. The NPC is yourself. Red.
Oh.
And when you go up to talk to him, he says nothing. And you just battle. One of the greatest moments in video game history. The answer is Red.
Scott Pilgrimed it. All right.
You're going to have to explain that to me when it gets back to you.
Okay.
Mike, I believe you're up second, my friend.
All right.
Who is the best NPC
Let me,
of all time?
let me take you back. Now,
Back to the Wayback
Now,
Machine.
Cicero, you were, you were still a grown adult when this game came out.
I didn't get my AARP magazine yet.
No, not yet.
It's on its way.
Let me take you back. Let me take you back to an NPC that does talk. Yes,
All right.
and he has the goods for you.
Boring.
He has the goods for
Boring.
you.
What are you selling?
This is the merchant from
From
Resident
Resident
Evil
Evil
4.
What?
This
What
is
are you
the
buying?
This is the greatest NPC of all time. He has the one-liners that he doesn't believe are one-liners, and Cam's already said them. What are you buying? What do you need? And it's just all funny. You have the reason why the merchant is the greatest NPC is because you are in a literal horror video game. And you got this crooked old guy who's just standing around just randomly, and he shows up randomly, and he's just like, yo, you want something? And then he opens his trench coat, and he's got goods on his coat. and it's just the merchant itself, it's perfect for the aesthetic, right? It's a horror video game, and the merchant himself kind of takes you out of there to give you a little moment of reprieve so you could buy your shotgun shells. He's the greatest NPC of all time.
All right. And Cicero, who do you believe the best NPC of all time is?
So yeah, man, I have my NPCs, and I think I understood the assignment wrong, or at least I've done the assignment very, very differently from my peers, because these two have found an NPC that is weird and quirky, and you're interested in just because like they're weird and quirky. But my NPC, I'd like to play a game where my NPC is actually the protagonist.
Okay.
And,
I mean, this is a pretty open question. You can take it how you want it.
So I would say that the next game in this award-winning series,
Ooh, buttering it up. I like it. Get that
Should-
fluff in there.
Oh, I think I know
should
who you're gonna say.
follow.
I think I know who
should
you're gonna
follow-
say.
Right. Should follow Dutch.
Oh
from
no.
Red Dead Redemption.
Cam's like, nope, that wasn't it.
No, but I was thinking of what's her face from Red Dead Redemption 2. I was thinking the same game.
You were thinking,
What's her face?
well, yeah.
chick.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
So-
where
Her
they
face was
build the
so
house
good
for
we
her?
remembered her name.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so yeah, Dutch Vanderland is the NPC, the greatest NPC of all time.
Okay, I'm going to say right now, like Dutch Vandalin is like not the greatest NPC. He's a very well written character, but there's nothing about him like as an NPC that makes him compelling. It's just he is a well written character. Regarding Trenchcoat Dude, I haven't played Resident Evil 4, but
Whoa,
like
what's the merchant? You don't call me Trenchcoat Dude.
Merchant from Resident Evil 4,
Bad
I haven't played it.
connotations.
I know it's iconic, like so I'm not like really like I can't really dismiss that, but like so Jelly, because you said that you don't really know about Red. So Red,
I've done some Googling, but
yeah,
yes,
so
keep
Red
going.
is the main character of Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow. Like he is the original Pokemon trainer.
He's Ash.
He's no, well,
Not Ash.
he's not Ash. He's not Ash.
Quote
In the
unquote,
same way that
like,
in the same way
He's
that
not
Mario
Gary.
is not Jumpman.
He's not Ash. But like canonically, he is not Ash.
Okay, and
no,
he's not
I
Gary.
know. That's why I put a quote unquote. Like he is the original trainer, the person who starts the journey.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
And basically, when you play Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you are a new trainer, and it is a straight up sequel. Like you do Johto, you go to Kanto, and Kanto has changed. There are different gym leaders, and then like one of the gym leaders is now a part of the Elite Four, which is like the final trainers that you fight at the end of the game.
I'm familiar
And
with
then-
Pokemon.
Okay, and then when you're done, stop it. Gosh. After you're done, this only happens in the Johto games too. You can go to Mount Silver, and you don't know this until you go up there. You don't know this. Like this isn't like, oh, he's waiting for you up there. It's literally just you go up there and he's there. And you think you're expecting him to say something to you, and it's literally just dots across the screen, and then it goes into the battle. And it has
What's up?
and there's a specific battle theme that is only in that battle. And even when it comes to his name, it's just question marks. You know it's Red because that's like you the player know that. Like if you've played the original, but like the game doesn't tell you, which makes it even more compelling. And
Okay.
so it's an NPC who is literally you, who you've played as before in the past, and he doesn't even speak to you. He's just there. It's just, and it literally is considered one of the greatest moments in video games. It is, or like one of the most iconic moments in video games. Is
Okay, all
going
right,
up to
all right.
Mount Silver and fighting Red.
Fair enough. Mike?
I mean, I got the goods, man. That's all I really have to say. Like, I mean, you go up to red in Pokemon, in silver, gold, or crystal, whichever version you've chosen, and he freaking battles you. Like here, I'm here with the goods. I'm trying to help you out. Red is trying to defeat you and make sure all of your Pokemon faint, not die, faint, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I'm here to help you through your journey. Red is just an NPC that is all against you. We need more merchants in our life. Let's go.
All right.
Wow.
All right. Cicero?
Yeah, so, man, listen. One of the greatest games that you've ever played was Red Dead Redemption. One of the other greatest games that you ever played was Red Dead Redemption 2. In Red Dead Redemption, we followed James Marston. And then in Red Dead Redemption 2, we realized that James Marston is just part of the crew that you are following. And now, in a future iteration, Red Dead Redemption 3, we can follow Dutch to find out what Dutch's upbringing was all about, because he's such a twisted, he's like an honorable man, but is also a villain, and is such a conflicted and deep character study that it would be amazing to be able to see how that person became the guy that you got to see in the second game. What a great way for Rockstar to finish the trilogy by going even further back in time and showing you exactly what Dutch Vanderlyn was all about and how he became the guy that was both the hero and the villain of the Red Dead Redemption series.
No, hold on. I just gotta say, with Dutch's character's already been defined. Like, with John, like, they were able to implement his way, like, as a prequel before, like, he evolved into the character that he was in the first game. And Arthur was a brand new character where you could basically make him any way you wanted him to, in a still, like, linear sense. Like, it wasn't, like, RPG-esque.
Right.
But, like, you could do good things, you could do bad things, and, like, you see that evolution in his character because of how well the game is written. But with Dutch, it's like, he is a bad guy. He is a bad guy. Like, playing a game earlier in his life won't change that. He's always been a bad guy, and him being, like, doing something, like, in between the events of 2 and 1, because 2 is a prequel.
Right.
That is just him being more bad. Like, it just doesn't work. He's already kind of defined as his character.
Even the villain is the hero of his own story, and it would be interesting to see how Dutch paints himself as a hero. And even the guys that we look at in the gang as being heroic look at Dutch for leadership and for fatherly advice. They trust this person, so they see there are redeemable qualities in Dutch that they see and they recognize that allow them to ally themselves with him. And it would be interesting to see what those things are as he is starting to mature into adulthood and is forming the gang that we wind up getting to see in Red Dead Redemption 2.
I still don't really think that is interesting, because first off, I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think he sees himself as a hero, and, like, I think that I definitely think he knows who he is and what he does. And I think that if what you were saying was true, then Red Dead Redemption 2 would have starred John Marston again. Because we know what happens to John, we know what happens to Dutch,
Right.
but we're playing as someone else because we know who those characters are. Like, there was an epilogue where you play as John after Arthur in Red Dead Redemption 2.
We know where
and that,
those
like,
characters end. And
but I feel like if there was more growth to, like, John, for example, we would have played as John throughout the entirety of the game, but we didn't. And I think that if that was a similar case for Dutch, we already know where that character's going, and I don't think that it's going to really add any real depth to his character.
I would argue that you would have said the exact same thing before Red Dead Redemption 2 released. That you already knew who Dutch was because you saw the end, he was the villain, and that you didn't think that there was something redeemable in Dutch prior to playing Red Dead Redemption 2 because he was just the guy that was hunting John Marston. That used to be cool with him, and then he was part of the group that sold him out to the feds.
I don't think we really got what we enough of Dutch in the first game, which is why I like that he was there now. But and I think he's a compelling character. I just don't think that he's it's because he's an NPC, which I think is the argument. What makes him compelling as an NPC? And there's nothing compelling about him being the NPC outside of him just being a character in this story. And that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think I know we're kind of going on a tangent here, where we're talking about should this character be...
What is an NPC? What is...
a non-playable character.
Right.
The guy who sells goods out of his trench coat.
I just think that
guy with a
there's
trench coat.
I think that there's more to both my Red and the Merchant from Resident Evil 4 that add more notoriety at the very least. I know about the Merchant in Resident Evil 4 and I've never played Resident Evil 4. And again, my thing is Red is one of the most meeting Red is one of the most iconic moments in video games, but Dutch is just, and Dutch is Red Dead Redemption 2 is my game of the generation. I like masterpiece, one of my favorite games of all time. I just don't think that Dutch is an interesting NPC. I think he's just an interesting character, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
I think what happened, Jelly, is that Cam just made my argument for me that he doesn't even view my NPC as an NPC. He just views him
it is
as
non-playable character. No, it is a non-playable character, but it's just not that's not what makes him compelling.
Thank you very much, Cam.
All right, so I
got
have
shotgun
some
shells and stuff like that.
I have some thoughts on this argument.
Okay.
Because we've got an NPC who's technically not an NPC because you were him in a variety of games. I've got Cicero making the argument for who would be the best playable character, but started out as an NPC. And then I've got Mike over here with the only NPC stays an NPC and is the best NPC. And I'm having some trouble because great arguments have been made. Cam's argument is awesome. The NPC is you because technically you are now no longer a playable character because you're playing someone else. Love it. Cicero, your idea of having the NPC become a character that you can play to learn more. Also love it. Mike, I think you were true to the question. So I think you have to win this one. I see Cam.
What does that even mean?
Look at Cam. I love it.
What does that even mean? True to the character. I'm so sorry for those that are watching via video. My dog is literally trying to get through storage boxes
you're
now.
fine, man. You're fine.
Yeah, you're good.
But for the audio,
I can't believe I just won this.
for the audio, Cam just housewayed Jelly on losing this one. So
I love
you ain't got the
idea
answer, Jelly.
of you being an NPC after being a playable character. But
Apparently
it's the
not.
exact
Apparently
opposite
not.
of Cicero's.
Apparently not, Jelly. Because I didn't get the point.
I feel like it just circumvented the NPC aspect. I feel like there's a lot of really good NPCs out there.
That was the whole point. The thing that made it cool was that it used to be you, but now not.
Man, your bars. Your
take
bars,
this
your
with a grain of
wordplay
salt.
was too.
Take with
Yeah.
this grain of salt. I really enjoyed that perspective. That was fun.
It was fantastic. Yeah, no, I loved it. I just didn't think it was worthy of winning
man.
because I think that the beauty of the question of who's the best NPC means that person has to be the best as an NPC, and the guy who you buy from, the guy who provides you everything in those games, it's your savior. It's your only link to a break, to a semblance of like just anything normal in these games, and it's the merchant, or it's the it's usually the merchant, or it's a bartender, or it's
So
a
should I have
shop
just gone
vendor,
with
or-
Claptrap?
Yeah, that's what it feels like at this point.
Right.
All right, let's.
I'm not hating on the answers. I'm really not. I just, I took it differently. And
Gladys.
as the judge, Gladys.
I almost argued
yes.
Gladys. I almost argued.
Gladys would have been a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes, okay.
Jelly, I'm taking over because we got a
Yes, sir.
surprise for you, you two gents.
Oh, 3. Come on now. Put me in, coach.
you want to
Tag me
argue?
in, coach.
Okay.
As someone who's never watched ever
So,
any.
So anyway, this was our blind fight. It was supposed to be last week, but we held it. I had this brilliant idea, knowing that Cam was on, that Cicero, me, and Cam really enjoy a show called Big Brother.
Oh yeah.
And so our blind fight for this week is what video game character would win Big Brother?
Oh.
Now, Now I am not participating because A, I thought of this question, and B, all Sunday last week I prided myself in not thinking about my answer to make it as blind as possible for myself. But then,
Sure.
but then throughout the week, I just thought about my answer too much, and my argument is way too flawless now, so you guys would lose. So anyway, that is why I'm bowing out, and I am judging. Jelly says he wants to participate.
I just want to clarify here really quick. When you say a video game character, does it have to be a character that originated in a video game?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So we're not
cool.
we're not going like Batman from Arkham Asylum, anything
Okay.
like that. It has to be a video game character, not an already established IP. Okay. So I'm doing it differently. Cicero, you're going first. Go ahead.
All right. My answer is Sonic the Hedgehog. Because Sonic is cute and cuddly. So people will want to hang out with him. He's a little sarcastic, so that'll help his social game as popularized by Urkel himself, Jaleel White. So he's and by the advertising, and he's a hedgehog, so he's gonna be a comp beast. And he's got an attitude, so he wouldn't mind. Like, he would probably betray a couple of people while he's making alliances and doing stuff. So Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
All right. Interesting.
Cam, you're up next. What video game character would win Big Brother?
You're gonna have to give me a minute. I gotta think.
That's the point of blind fight. Jelly, do you have an answer since you already knew the question?
You bet I do.
All right, Jelly, go ahead. By the way,
The
Jelly
obvious
is
answer.
okay. Listeners, Jelly is okay to have an answer already because A, he is at an extreme disadvantage between Cicero and Cam because he does not watch Big Brother, and B,
I've never seen one episode.
and B,
I pride myself in
Jelly doesn't argue. He hosts, so we're gonna see if he can argue here. So go ahead, Jelly.
Yeah. So the obvious answer is Agent 47.
Wow.
And why?
I'll explain more later.
No,
wow.
we're going why?
I mean, who better to be on a show where you have to be manipulative, trusting, and also distrusting of everyone, likable, and also able to stab someone in the back in an instant. I'm assuming all these things are relevant to the show, obviously. But it seems like something that would happen. I know it's a show where they compete for money at the end, so you have to be able to compete. And if all else fails, you can literally murder them and steal it. So, and never get caught because he's the best.
I don't think that's a good. I don't think that's.
There's no murder in Big Brother. Just letting you know.
Okay, so he doesn't murder them. He shoots them with sleepy darts. They take a nap. He disappears.
That's what Derek F's doing. He's getting shot with sleepy darts.
Agent 47, likable enough, obviously. He spends most of his life in the shadows, but if you know a little bit of background, you know that he's a character who can also hang. He's kind of like a James Bond. So if the guy can fit in and hang and be friendly with all these people, schmooze them, you know, but also know when to make alliances and break alliances, maybe know when to take people out the competition, not murder, because I've been told that's not allowed. Maybe in other ways, sabotage. This is sabotage. Maybe pointing the light in areas that shouldn't be pointed. You got to have a spy for that, and who better than Agent 47?
Oh man, I am loving Cam with his back to us, getting ready to turn around with his answer.
He's gonna doctor
the dramatics.
Right,
I love it.
Evil.
I love it.
All right, Cam, you got something?
No, this is NBA Live all over. He's gonna have a million ums. He's gonna think about it. He's gonna stew.
Let's.
He's dying right now. He hates that it's so many options.
Yes.
And where can the arguments go?
I'm going to say Commander Shepard.
Okay.
And
from
why?
Mass Effect.
Who's Commander Shepard?
The main character in Mass Effect.
No, I'm saying, is it fem Shep?
Oh.
Is it male Shep?
I don't know. Who cares?
Oh.
It's Commander Shepard.
Okay.
So I think the main thing is, well, like, all right, let's look at the background. Like, N7 member, very few that exist around the universe, in the Mass Effect universe. Charismatic, persuasive, deceptive, has all the things that they need for the social game. For the physical competitions, he's he's more or less a super soldier. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be able to nail things out of the park, all those things.
I hear they do different sorts of nailing on that show.
And Commander Shepard's smart. You have to be smart to be a commander, to lead a squad, to make sure that people, like, survive, which is literally the whole thing in Mass Effect 2, is getting this whole crew to do the suicide mission together and survive. I think that Commander Shepard has all the skills that one would need to be successful in the Big Brother house.
All right, give me more on Sonic, Cicero.
So here's the thing. It's Sonic, right? I mean, you really don't need more on Sonic because, like I said, the comps are there. If it's an endurance comp, you know he's gonna make his way through it. Memory comps, Sonic has great memory. You know he cares about the animals. There's no more fish tank, so he's not going to be taking care of the fish, but he'll help clean up around the house. People will want him around. They'll want him around, want him in and around the house. He'll also be great in his alliances because he can easily speed up on somebody and spy on their conversations. That is something that's going to be incredibly valuable, and he'll be able to scoot out of there before anybody even notices that he was there.
Jelly.
So I think what we're missing here is the fact that everyone in the house has to like you enough, and also at first not think you're a threat, because if they think you're a threat, they're going to want to get rid of you early on because they don't want to compete with you. And I think with Sonic, they're going to see him as a threat because not only is he cute and cuddly, but he's got literally super speed, and he can do bad things way too quickly. You know, how could you want that with you? I mean, Shepard, hello, super soldier, way too charismatic, good looking, likable, and he's stronger than literally everyone, he's gone day one.
No.
Who's the guy who's going to be in there? Average Joe, take me as I am. Kind of fits in, doesn't look too intimidating, just looks like a normal guy. Can fit in, can hang out, can hold conversation, but also can do the wheeling and dealing necessary. He's a spy. He's kind of an elite assassin. He's in good physical fitness. He can hang in the physical things. He's a spy. Need I say it again? His memory is going to be almost unparalleled. And how could you beat this guy in a game where stealthily getting all the answers you need is the name of the game?
Cam.
Okay, so regarding Sonic, yeah, I agree with everything that Jelly said. Like, knowing that, like, he's super fast, like, people are going to be like, oh, I can't trust that person. So the first speed-related competition or whatever that happens, they're going to try and get Sonic out of that house. And then regarding Hitman, Agent 47, not intimidating. He's going to show up with a black suit tuxedo, bald, 6'4", with a barcode tattoo on the back of his head. You don't think that's intimidating? I would be scared.
Nah.
I'd be like, that guy is scary. That guy's going to kill me. Like, come on now. And Shepard,
Dark Angel, they all have barcodes.
No.
No. Basically normal.
And yeah, so Hitman, like, very suspicious from go. He's out of there. He's gone. And then like yeah. And again with Shepard, he has all the skills necessary to not stand out and to do what he needs to win. Because here's the thing: even if he has those physical capabilities, that doesn't mean he has to use them all the time. That's part of the game. Throwing competitions, like, manipulating the game that way. Again, persuasion, deception, like, he has all the skills that he needs. Because even though that there are the competitions and, like, people, because the thing is that, like, I would say Hitman 47 over Commander Shepard would look more as a physical threat, because that's what people do in the Big Brother house. Like, when they see a tall white guy that's buff, they're like, that guy needs to get out of this house, because they know that they're a physical threat, and they care. That's what people care about in the Big Brother house. With Shepard, I mean, Shepard could be white, but you can choose what your Shepard looks like. Could be a femme-shep, and, like, I know that's kind of cheating. Like, I will say that. Like, let's just say that Shepard is me, like a mixed dude, tall, sure. I wouldn't say, like, I'm not built, like, I'm pretty slim overall. That's Shepard in this scenario, just to make it a little bit more fair, because I don't want to, because I feel like being able to choose is cheating. I think that there's a lot of, I think, like, all the skill set is there. You look, the skill set is there. Agent 47, suspicious. Sonic, fast. That means, like, he's a threat. Get him out of there. Shepard has everything. I don't know. That's what I'd say.
All right. I've made my decision. Cicero, I think they banged you up a little bit too much with the super speed. I think that, and to me, I don't know if Sonic is actually cuddly, but that's just my opinion.
It's a hedgehog, man.
Jelly.
Yes. How'd I do? I don't know the show, so
You did
I
very
nail
good.
it?
Agent 47
Yes.
is a very
Agent
good
47
choice.
was a good pick. It was a
Very
good pick.
choice.
Yeah.
But
dang it.
Cam got you on this, and his last point was the deal breaker.
Making him average and normal, damn it.
No.
Aw.
Big Brother history, big, white, muscular guys have been some of the first people out of the house.
Hitman's not muscular. He's lanky.
Take
He's
off
built.
that shirt. He's got his. I mean, Tom Hiddleston looks lanky, but then the TVA took off his clothes in the show, and then he had a 6-pack. So I mean, let's just be real here.
Yeah, he's fit. He's fit.
He's skinny buff. Skinny buff isn't real buff.
I think
Cody
with
won
Cam,
last year.
I think
Tyler
Yeah, I think Cam. I like the RPG side to it. Like, he is a jack of all trades. Can certainly do good in the Big Brother house with Commander Shepard. So I'm giving it to you, Cam. All right, that means Cam and I tied today. So no clear winner today, but
I'm gonna say that's a three-peat. I'm gonna say we both win on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Season 15 winner. Andy Heron looks almost like Agent 47.
All right.
Andy? Wow.
Little nerdier.
Yeah, redheaded Andy.
Yeah. All right, guys. So Jelly, do you mind? I'm gonna close this out. I think we've gone a little bit long here today, but that's okay. We had a lot of fun. Really quickly, we were gonna do a leaderboard of the top 6.
Let's do it.
Games.
I've been looking forward to this part. Come on. Let's do it.
Let's not debate what our 6 are, but let's share some of our favorites. So Cam, why don't you go first? Share your top 2, top 3.
Okay, top 2, because those were the 2 I was thinking of. Pokemon Pinball, the best version of video game pinball that exists. How have we not gotten a new entry since the Game Boy Advance? Absolute travesty. Second game, I like this game more than Mario Kart. Going to be a very unpopular opinion. Sonic Riders. I love Sonic Riders. The original on the Game Boy, the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. Love that game. I haven't played the other 2 after, but I bought the second one on Wii because it was a Wii exclusive. The other one was a Kinect exclusive. Ugh. But I would love to see that come back in a real way. That's not a Kinect game or just a proper Sonic Riders game. And yeah, those are the 2.
All right, Jelly, you got some spin-off games?
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat a little bit here, but Super Mario Bros. Because Super Mario appeared in Donkey Kong first. So technically, Super Mario Bros. Is a spin-off game.
God damn it.
It's actually a spin-off of Mario Brothers. So which is a spin-off from Donkey Kong.
Okay, I hear you.
And then if I can, no, I won't do that. How about Final Fantasy Tactics?
That's a good one.
That's a good choice.
Thinking, yeah, good one.
Very good choice. Cicero.
It's Final Fantasy, but a little different.
Yeah, definitely different. Cicero, what you got?
So I had 2 in my brain, and one fell out of my brain, but it was a really good one. So I'll start with my second one. This is a weird one, but it is Fortnite Battle Royale, because that is actually a spin-off of the original game, Fortnite Save the World. So
okay.
Can I change an answer?
I mean, we're not debating here. Just say it.
You missed Apex.
Apex Legends. Yeah,
right,
come on now, Titanfall universe. I'm an idiot.
You saved it for Mike.
Fair enough.
No, Apex.
And my second spin-off game is Forza Horizon.
You didn't save that one for me.
No, I wasn't gonna save that one for you. That was the original one. Yeah, Forza Horizon.
Okay, I'm gonna go Cam's route slightly for one of mine, and Crash Team Racing, like one of the best kart racers of all time. I would argue it's better than Mario 64 at the time. That's just me. I
would agree with you. With you.
Cool. Thank you. Jelly won't, and that's okay, Jelly. I love you.
My lips are zipped.
Oh, that's funny. And then,
I just looked up a list of some spin-off games.
Yeah.
And I'm being absolutely floored right now.
Well, you got Apex right there, sitting right there for you. Take Apex.
No,
I did, but Portal's a spin-off game. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And then just one that popped in my head, and I'll throw out. I played the crap out of Pokemon Stadium. I know that some of the mechanics of it are obviously the same, but it is technically a spin-off of the OG RPG. So, okay, Cam, once again, thanks for joining us. Listeners, I'm so happy we have an episode, because I do have a backup if there is any corruption. So, Cam, once again, thank you. Listeners, everything Cam related we'll have down in the show notes. Remember, Cam Final Mix on Twitter and Twitch, so go check him out. And once again, thank you for your time for the third time and for the first time also, because this is the first episode.
Third time is the first time.
Right. My name is Mike. For Jelly, for Cam, for Cicero, this is Test Your Might. We'll see you later. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.